Hey guys, my name is Tito. I make videos on personal finance on my other channel. On this channel, I talk about other things, like today when I'll be reviewing the Showmax original limited series, Agu. Now, this review will contain spoilers, but I'll try and keep the spoilers to a minimum because not only do I think that Agu is worth your time, I also think that this series is binge-worthy. If you can sit down for like 3 or 4 hours, you can probably get through the whole thing and you'll enjoy it and you won't even feel the time pass by, right? Now, Agu is about barrister Etim Inyang, played by Kanayo, and he's this washed-up charge and bail lawyer who is hired to represent a man who is accused of killing his best friend, or killing an old friend rather, right? Now, the challenge is, on the other side of this case, the lawyer representing the family of the victim is Etim Inyang's daughter, Victoria, his estranged daughter. Now, she's estranged because something happened in their family in the past that caused her to sever ties with her father. So there's lots of tension between father and daughter. Aside from that, in Victoria's legal firm where she works, there's all kinds of drama going on there. There's no confidence in her abilities as a lawyer, and she's actually there also trying to assert herself and establish herself as a lawyer, but her co-workers and her bosses don't think she's up to the task, right? So episode 1 was just full of tension between Victoria and her father and Victoria and her co-workers. Now in episode 2, we get to learn a little bit more about the history between the victim, Felix, and his killer, Pius. You see, both men grew up together, and through the years, there have been arguments and accusations, back and forth, and there's been tension between both families, and we get to learn all this in episode 2. We also get to learn that the deceased Felix was involved in esoteric and traditional black magic type of stuff, which Pius claims is part of why he had to defend himself against Felix and, ended up killing him in the forest that day in self-defense. Now, episode 3 is where your jaw will start to fall a lot while watching this series. First of all, because of how episode 2 ends, but also because of how episode 3 opens. The opening scene of episode 3, you have two characters in bed and they roll one up and they're doing the whole puff pass thing, and it looked so real. I was even wondering if these guys are acting or if this was actually a real thing that they were doing. Another thing that caught me off guard in episode 3 was how, you see, barrister Etim Inyang, played by Kanayo, the man is not a superstitious guy. He doesn't believe in esoteric and superstitious practices and all those traditional things. However, because he's representing a murderer, some people come after him and they leave suspicious, dodgy, traditional voodoo type of things in his environment or around his environment, and as a result, things start happening to barrister Etim Inyang, and these things cause him to start believing in the superstitious. I also like the suspense on this series. You see, it's one thing to have suspense, and it's another thing for the suspense to grow in an ideal way. And Agu does both. It has really great suspense, and the suspense just builds and builds and builds. And that's one of the things that I really liked about this series. Now, by episode 4, we find out that Victoria isn't the goody two-shoes that we think she is, right? After much convincing of the partners, she eventually secures the lead in the prosecution against the killer, right? So she's working on the case, but her personal life is in shambles. She's making terrible decisions, and it seems as if it's because she doesn't have family, right? This broken relationship with her father is affecting her more than she knows. So there's that, and on this episode, her boss, Shola, played by Mofe Duncan, it's his birthday on this episode, and let's just say things happen at the birthday party. And I think it's from episode 4 that it dawns on me as a viewer that a lot of people in their office seem to know about the games that are happening in the office, except for Victoria and her love interest, Obina. It just gets messier and messier in a scandalous way, and it's just so good to watch. So yeah, like I said, I really want you guys to check out Agu on Showmax, so I won't be saying any more about what happens on the series because it will be ruining things for you when you do watch it. Something happens in episode 5 that it blew my socks off. I so did not see it coming, and it was such a powerful scene. When you see it, when you watch the series, you will know. The performances. Kanayo as Barrister Etim Inyang, this washed up lawyer who is past his prime but who is all of a sudden representing a suspected killer in a very high profile case, right? And the character Etim Inyang, he doesn't seem to, you would think that he's an upright legal practitioner, but he's not necessarily that. He sometimes bends the rules, to get what he wants or to win the case. But to be honest, isn't that the case with many lawyers? But Kanayo, he does a really great job playing this, down and out lawyer at a point who is just trying to pick himself back up, remember his heyday or his glory days to win this case and to maybe prove something to himself and to his daughter. Ruby Okezie plays Victoria, the daughter of Barrister Etim Inyang. And I must say, I don't think I've noticed or seen Ruby Okezie in anything prior to now, but she's a really good actress. She really delivered on this show. She's very prominent in this series, right? Because she has a dynamic with so many characters on this series. There's a relationship between herself and her estranged father, the relationship between herself and her love interest at work, Obina, a relationship between herself and her bosses and her co-workers. She's just, it seems like the character is being pulled in different directions, and Ruby does a really good job of representing that or showing that frustration with her character, Victoria. You really do feel sorry for the girl, and you realize that she's trying to just juggle all these balls at the same time, but she's doing a terrible job at it. And it's intentional because she seems to be biting off more than she can chew. Mofe Duncan plays Shola, one of the bosses in this legal firm on the show. He's doing well for himself. He's quite smug. He plays people like they're pieces on a chessboard, right? And I have to say, Mofe Duncan does the whole villain thing quite well. I haven't seen him play a villain that much. Mofe Duncan is in a number of projects, series and movies, but I haven't seen him in many things where he plays the villain, and he plays the villain quite well on this series. You really don't like the guy. The more you get to know the guy, the more you dislike the guy. Next, Ireti Doyle. She plays Ellis, the other partner in the law firm, right? And it's Ireti Doyle, the way we like to see Ireti Doyle, playing this powerful woman who is a no-nonsense kind of boss. She did it really well. She really looked the part with the way she was styled on the show, and I really did like her performance. Linda Ejiofor was in the series as well as Ugochi, this distressed wife. She's the wife of the murderer or the accused, right? And she's really just trying to get help for her husband and to make sure that her husband isn't thrown in jail. So she's just kind of running from pillar to post. I've never seen Linda Ejiofor Suleiman in this kind of role. She had very little makeup on. She's like this housewife. Typically, Linda Ejiofor is, she's the baby girl in most of the series or the movies she's in, but that wasn't the case in this one. It was very different. Well, for me anyway, I don't know how many times she's played a character like this, but it was a different kind of character for me to see her play, right? And I think she did a brilliant job. Who else? Let me talk about Nonso Odogwu, who plays Pius, the murderer on this series. I've never talked about Nonso Odogwu in any of my reviews before, but I think now is a good time because he does a really good job as this man who is accused of killing his friend. Honestly, maybe it goes to the credit of the character itself. He took his friend's life. He didn't seem very distressed about it, but then again, that may have been what they were going for, because his friend, who he popped, wasn't the best. He wasn't the best of characters, and they did have like a turbulent and tumultuous history. So it kind of does make sense, now that I think of it, that Pius wasn't too beaten up about what he did to his one-time friend. The performances by and large were really good. I want to talk about Tina Mba's performance as the judge, but hey, there are only so many I can mention. Great performances on this series, Agu. Who should see it? See Agu if you are into legal dramas or legal thrillers, right? If that's your cup of tea, if you like shows like that, then I think you'll enjoy Agu. Now, I'm not comparing Agu to the American series Suits, but the office romances and drama on this series, Agu, reminded me of the office romances and drama on Suits. So there's that. Also, if you are in the legal profession, right, if you work in that field, I think you'll enjoy Agu as well. They do film a lot in courtrooms here in Lagos, and it was nice to see how they portrayed courtrooms on this show. I also watch this series, or people who I think will enjoy this series are people who like scandals, you know, a good scandalous show, because this series is not short of scandal and it's part of what makes the show so good. Finally, if you like a quality show or a quality series, I think you'll like Agu. The pictures are very rich, the storytelling is very good, the acting is it's an all-round really good series, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it reminded me of another really good series on Showmax, which was also a Showmax original, Diche, which I also reviewed. I really enjoyed Diche, and there are aspects of this series. They have two very separate shows, but they're just things about Agu that reminded me of Diche. Maybe it's the high quality. Now, to watch Agu, all you need to do is to visit www.showmax.com and subscribe to Showmax, or download the new Showmax app, and you can subscribe to Showmax for as low as 1,200 Naira. On Showmax, you can watch brilliant Showmax original series like Agu, like Diche, like Wura, like Flossom. Flossom, by the way, is coming back with season 2 in February, so look out for that. And like the Real Housewives of Lagos. There are also tons of other foreign series, movies, and documentaries on Showmax. Showmax really is the place to be. So be sure to check out www.showmax.com or visit your app store and download the Showmax app. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this review, I really hope that you did. Please like it by clicking on the like button just underneath the video, and subscribe to this channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. According to my analytics, over 60% of you guys watching are not subscribed to this channel. Why? Please subscribe to this channel. It takes you nothing more than 1 or 2 seconds. Just click on that subscribe button. On this channel, I do Nollywood movie reviews. I also talk about some other things. I also have a podcast on a separate channel. To check out any of those things, you can click the card in the corner of the screen, or you can check the description box down below, or the pinned comment in the comment section. Speaking of the comment section, if you've seen Agu, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. Thanks once again, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Take care.